Imagine working for over 40 years, paying into Social Security every month, only to realize upon retirement that it is nowhere near what you expected it to be, and you'll either have to start depending on your children or friends for financial support, or you'll have to continue working until you die. This is not speculation, this is reality that is facing many of us as we have 5 to 15 years left before we retire. And up until the time of this content being created, there is no permanent solution that has been passed by the government. What do we need to do? Stay tuned for this valuable content today, as I'm going to be reviewing what you need to do to make sure you are set up for financial success after you retire, so that you are not working harder in your later years than you actually did in your younger years just to survive. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Next Level Life Hacks, where we take the next steps needed to go towards our financial freedom and our success. Now, the dilemma that we're facing right now is that Social Security is expected to actually run out of funds by the year 2033. I did not say 3033, neither did I say 2063 or 43. As at the time of making this video, that's actually like 8 years away. So I know that many of my viewers are 45 years or older, therefore this 2033 is going to be coming at the point of you are retiring or even before you retire. So therefore you realize just how serious that this is. Now, what is causing this problem? The first problem is what you hear as the term being slung around as the baby boomers year. And these are persons that are now actually becoming 65 years of age, and they are a significant amount. Now, it is actually of a record proportion, because since 2011, we actually had 10,000 persons becoming 65 every day. However, what is projected for 2025, which is this year, is that 11,400 seniors are actually turning 65, which is now being categorized or termed as the peak 65. This peak is expected to continue until the year 2029. So with 11,400 seniors becoming 65 years of age every day, do not take this lightly, because what it actually means is that 11,400 persons every day start pulling, by and large, Social Security checks. The second part of the problem is that while we have so many persons becoming 65 and actually start pulling from the Social Security Trust, what we're finding is that we're having an aging population coupled with the fact that there is a lower birth rate. So more persons are aging longer while less persons are being born. Take a bank account, for example, so that I can give you the true picture of what is happening. If, for example, you have a bank account that has $1 million, but every day you deposit $10,000, but yet every day you are withdrawing $15,000, you will clearly see that at some point that $1 million is going to be depleted, because there is more being withdrawn than what is deposited. And it's the same thing that is happening with the Social Security Trust. Because less persons are being born and there are less persons aging into the workforce, there is therefore less taxes being collected from a workforce. However, there are more persons aging into retirement and therefore subtracting from the fund. It is bound to be depleted at some point. So what is going to actually happen if this fund is actually depleted by 2033? We're not going to be panicking and saying that it's going to be eliminated and there will no longer be any Social Security checks being distributed. However, what it therefore means though is that there are going to be certain measures put in place in order to mitigate the effects of the declining Social Security Trust. One is going to be that there is projected to be a reduction in the amount that is being distributed to seniors. It is projected that there will be a 20 to 25% reduction in the amount that you expect to pull for your Social Security check. Let's look at some numbers. If you look at your Social Security contributions right now, and this is another advice to you because I am not a financial advisor, I recommend that you speak to your financial advisor and give them the full picture as to the amount that you are currently contributing into your Social Security, and for them to do some projections when you become 65, what will be your expected Social Security check. Now, whatever that amount is, expect a reduction of 20 to 25% because of the declining and the depletion of the Social Security Trust. So, say for example, you are anticipated to get $2,000. You now realize that that amount is expected to be reduced to approximately $1,500 to $1,600. That's an approximate $500 reduction per month, or an anticipated $6,000 reduction per year in what you expect to get after you retire. Now, $6,000 per year, and if you should live for 10 years after you retire, you realize that this is a significant amount of $60,000 approximately. Now, with $60,000 less coming into you as an income, what is the implication for your lifestyle? What is the implication on your food security and your living expenses? We are in significant problems. What makes this more impactful and serious is that 50 to 90% of seniors do rely on the Social Security checks as their main source of income. Now, what does all of this mean? It therefore possibly well be that some persons will have to delay their retirement, working much longer than we expected to work after working so hard for so many years. Because if we delay, each year that we delay our retirement and pulling from Social Security, we get 8% more on our Social Security check. So if we therefore work for 3 more years beyond where we expect to retire, that is expected to make up for the 20 to 25% shortfall that we will be seeing, because 3, 8, 24, so we can make up back that 24%. Therefore, we will be back at where we should have been if we had retired 3 years earlier. But what will 3 additional years mean for us? That's 3 more years of hard work when we should be retiring, living comfortably with a declining health. That is even more serious, because as we grow older, we are not immortal beings, we are mortal beings. So our biological system will be breaking down more and more, creating more expenses on ourselves. What will we do? Here are the steps and strategies that I recommend, because it's not all problems that we'll be focusing on, but let's look at the solution and what can be done. The first thing is that we're going to invest more right now in our retirement savings account. So whether you have a 401k, a Roth IRA, or an IRA, then we need to be contributing more towards these savings accounts. And if you want me to delve deeper into the 401k, the Roth, and the IRA, regular IRA, then drop it in the comment section below that you need more information, and I'll be more than happy to do a content explaining the differences and which one is more suitable for what type of persons. The next thing that I recommend is that you cut back on your expenses now. As I mentioned before, most of my viewers are over the age of 45, so you are looking at retirement in the next 5 to 15 years. If especially you are looking at the next 5 years to retire, it is more serious for you to start cutting back on unnecessary expenses and invest more into your retirement savings account. My next advice, as I've always preached about, and it is the content of many of my videos, is that you need a side hustle. While you work your 9 to 5, start developing something on the side that will generate an income. And when you retire, this side hustle could very well become your main hustle, and then could very much subsidize or even be more than our Social Security or retirement savings payments. Now, there are several options that are before the lawmakers. One is that they might very well raise the age of retirement. And if you look in certain other cultures and countries, they have started doing that. That might very well continue or be implemented within the United States, so that so many persons are not aging into retirement as before, so that they can stagger the effect. The next thing is that they have an option as well to increase the payroll tax rate. Whatever it is now, we can anticipate that they might very well raise these taxes so that more funds are coming into the system to make up for the higher amounts that is being withdrawn on a monthly basis. Whatever their options are and whatever your options are, what the reality is while you're watching this content is that action is required right now. At the current rate, most of us will not be able to afford our living expenses after we retire, and we're going to be facing options of working for longer, maybe until we die, because there is just not enough income projected. I deal with seniors on a daily basis, and I face the reality that most of them on a fixed income cannot comfortably afford their living expenses. Therefore, right now is the time that we need to take action. As usual, thank you for the privilege of the time that you have spent with me today. If you know of anyone else that might benefit from this information, especially if they are set to retire in the next 5 to 15 years, please share this content with them so that we can all be more prepared for our financial success during our retirement years. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.